Hello friends, yesterday we discussed about reflection and refraction of plane wave, right? And you have to remember these things, that for reflection wavelength and velocity are same but frequency changes, and for refraction wavelength and velocity change and frequency remains same, right? So you have to remember these things, right? Okay, now we discuss about some example. See, example number 1, monochromatic light of wavelength 589 nanometer is incident from air on a water surface. What are the wavelength, frequency and speed of reflected and refracted light? The refractive index of water is 1.33. We know the value, right? So here in this sum we have to calculate the wavelength, frequency and speed, but these all things are for reflected and refracted light. So first of all we calculate for reflected light. So for reflected light, here the wavelength is given, lambda is equals to 589 nanometer, right? Now we know that we already discussed that for reflected light lambda remains same, wavelength is same. So for reflected light lambda is 589 nanometer, right? And we also know that for reflected light speed is same, right? So the speed in air, we know that the speed in air is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, because here we discuss for reflected light. So the light reflect in the same medium, so the speed remains same. So velocity v is equals to c is equals to 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, right? So we calculate wavelength, frequency and speed for reflected light, but we know that for reflected light wavelength and speed remains same. So wavelength is 589 nanometer and the speed is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Now we have to calculate the frequency, and we know the formula. Frequency f is equals to v or c by lambda, right? So you can use v or c because here v is equals to c. So f is equals to c by lambda. We know the value of c. Value of c is 3 into 10 raised to 8, and the value of lambda is 589 nanometer. So we have to convert nanometer into meter. So we know that 1 nanometer is equals to 10 raised to minus 9 meter. So 589 into 10 raised to minus 9, right? So we get 5.09 into 10 raised to 14 hertz. So the frequency f is equals to 5.09 into 10 raised to 14 hertz, right? So these are the values of wavelength, velocity or speed and frequency for reflected light. Now we have to calculate for refracted. So now for refracted, so B for refracted light or ray, right? Here we know that the monochromatic light incident from air on a water, so the refraction takes place in a water from air, right? So we know that for refraction, frequency remains same and speed and wavelength changes, right? I repeat once again, for refraction, frequency remains same and speed and wavelength change. So frequency remains same, so f is equals to, we already find out the value of frequency, 5.09 into 10 raised to 14 hertz, right? Now the speed, so to calculate the value of speed, we know the formula, n is equals to c by v, right? Because we know the refractive index of water is 1.33. So n is equals to c by v. So v is equals to c by n. Value of c is 3 into 10 raised to 8. Value of n is 1.33. So we get velocity 2.25 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. So velocity v is equals to 2.25 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Now we have to calculate the wavelength. So here the medium changes from air to water. So our new wavelength is equals to lambda dash is equals to lambda by n. You have to remember this equation. When the medium changes, then wavelength lambda dash is equals to original wavelength upon refractive index. So lambda dash is equals to lambda upon n. We know the value of lambda. Value of lambda is 589 nanometer upon value of refractive index of water 1.33. So we get new wavelength lambda dash is equals to 442.86 nanometer, right? So once again, here for monochromatic light wavelength is given 589 nanometer. We have to find out the wavelength, frequency and speed for reflected and refracted light. So you have to remember these things, and you already know that for reflected light velocity and wavelength remains same. So here lambda and velocity v remains same. Then for frequency we know the formula, f is equals to c by lambda. By putting all the values we can easily find out the value of frequency. Now for refracted light, we know that for refracted light frequency remains same and velocity and wavelength changes. So frequency remains same, so we know the value of frequency. So frequency is same, 5.09 into 10 raised to 14. For velocity we know the refractive index of water, so n is equals to c by v. So here we formulate v, so v is equals to c by n. By putting all the values we can easily find out the speed. Now for wavelength, you have to remember this formula. When the medium is changes, then wavelength lambda dash is equals to lambda upon n, where lambda is original wavelength. So value of lambda 589, value of refractive index 1.33. So we get the wavelength for refraction, right? So this is very easy sum. You have to remember the formulas, then you can easily find out the answers, right? Now refraction of plane wave with a thin prism. So see here, this is the thin prism PQR, right? Here we have to explain the refraction of a plane wave by using with a thin prism. So here this is the thin prism PQR, having surface PQ, PR and QR, right? Here this is the parallel beam which is incident on the thin prism, or we can say surface PQ, right? Now here this particle and this particle, as we connect this particle, so we can see that this is the plane wavefront, right? So this plane wavefront is here, this point we can say A1 or this is B1. So here A1 B1 is a plane wavefront which is incident on the thin prism, right? Now this beam goes from rarer to denser medium, so it will passes like this, right? Okay, now so this is the refracted beam. Here consider this particle and this particle. As we connect this particle, so this is the refracted wavefront. So here this point is A2 and this is B2, right? So this A1 B1 is a incident plane wavefront and A2 B2 is the refracted plane wavefront. So we can say that here from this figure we can see that a parallel beam is incident on a prism, and here A1 B1 is the plane wavefront, and here this is the emergent beam, right? And A2 B2 is the refracted wavefront. Now you can see that this path B1 to B2, this, and see this path A1 to A2. So from the figure we can say that the length of path B1 to B2 is higher than the length from A1 to A2. Once again I repeat, from the figure we can say that the length from B1 to B2 is greater than the length from A1 to A2, right? So consider, see this is the first surface of prism point, we can say that A1, and this point A2. See here this point and this point, suppose this is C1 and this is C2. So from the figure we can say that here the path A1 to A2 is larger than the path C1 to C2. So we can say that this wave travels more in prism as compared to this, right? I repeat all these things once again. The figure so that the parallel beam is incident on a thin prism. Here A1 B1 is the incident wavefront, A2 B2 is the refracted wavefront. From the figure we can say that the path B1 to B2, this is higher than the path A1 to A2, or we can say that the distance between B1 to B2, this distance is greater than the distance between A1 to A2. Now here we give this point C1 and this point C2. So we can say that here in this thin prism the path A1 to A2 is greater than the path C1 to C2, right? So this is the refraction of plane wave with a thin prism, right? So Here the figure shows the parallel beam is incident on a prism, right? A1 B1 is a plane wavefront and A2 B2 is the refracted wavefront. You can see that this is A1 B1, which is the incident wavefront, right? And this is the refracted wavefront. Now here the length of path B1 to B2 is larger than the length of path A1 to A2, right? You can see that here B1 to B2 is higher than or larger than the A1 to A2. As shown in figure, from A1 to A2 in prism is larger than the path from C1 to C2, right? See that A1 to A2 is larger than C1 to C2. And at last, the velocity of light in prism is less than the velocity in air. So A2 is lagging behind the point B2. You can see that A2 is lagging behind point B2, right? So this is due to the velocity of light in prism is less than the velocity in air, right? You have to remember these things, that the velocity of light in prism is less than the velocity in air, right? So you have to remember this thing. Now, refraction of a plane wavefront with a thin convex mirror. Thin convex lens. Right, here we consider lens. Okay, so refraction of a plane wavefront with a thin convex lens. Now we know that this is the convex lens, right? Now these are the rays which are incident on the surface of the lens, right? So these rays are from the infinite distance. So here we consider this particle. As we connect this particle, so this is the plane wavefront. So this is the wavefront AB, right? Now we know that if the rays are from infinite distance, then we get an image at the point F. So these rays pass like this passing like this, and these rays pass like this, right? So here at point F, focus point, we can get the image, right? So this, so here once again I repeat, this is the convex lens. The rays are from the infinite distance. So we know that if the rays are from infinite distance, then the image is at focus of the lens F, right? So here these are the rays from the infinite distance. As we connect these particles, so we get a plane wavefront AB, right? Now here we take the center F and we draw an arc by taking point F as a center. So if we draw an arc, so this is like this, we draw an arc by taking a center F. So the arc is like this, right? So as we connect this point, so this is point A, this is point B, as we denoted this point by C, so this is the C. So here this small a to b is the refracted wavefront, right? I repeat all the process. This is the convex lens. The rays are from infinite distance. As we connect these particles, so we get a plane wavefront AB. Now we get these rays are connected at the focus of the lens f. So here we take focus of the lens as a center and we draw an arc. So the arc is like this. So here we denoted this point by A, this by B, and this point by C. So here AB is a refracted wavefront, and we can say that from the figure the distance from C to C is less. Right. The distance C to C is less, very less as compared to B to B and A to A. Right. Once again I repeat, as shown in figure, the distance from C to C is less as compared to B to B and A to A, because the velocity of light in this lens is less than the velocity in air. Right. Here the figure shows the plane wavefront AB incident to a thin convex lens. Right. Here the rays coming out through a thin convex lens concentrated at a second focus. Right. We can already study that the rays are meet at the second focus. Right. Now to draw a wavefront, the arc is drawn by accepting the second focus as a center. Right. You can see that here. See here, these are the rays, they meet at this second focus. Now here we consider this second focus as a center and we draw an arc. Right. Now here we can see that the distance between C to C is less as compared to B to B and A to A. Right. And also we can say that here point C is lag behind point A and point B. This is due to we know that the velocity of light in air is higher than the velocity in lens. Right. Due to this, point C is lag behind point A and point B. So to draw a wavefront, the arc is drawn by accepting the second focus as the center. This arc represents the refracted wavefront. Right. And here the distance from C to C is less as compared to A to A and B to B, and hence C lags behind point A and point B. Right. At point A and point B. Right. This is point B. Right. Point B. This is due to the velocity of light in material of lens is less. Right. Now, reflection of plane wavefront from a concave mirror. So this is the concave mirror, like this. Now the rays are from the infinite distance. This is the principal axis. We can say this is the ray. So these rays are from the infinite distance. Now we know that if the rays are from infinite distance, then after reflecting they meet at point focus F. So after reflection the rays are meet at point F. This is like this and this ray is like this. So here the points are meet at principal focus F. So here if we connect these particles, so this is the plane wavefront. So this is the plane wavefront. We can say wavefront AB. Now here we draw an arc by taking focus as a center. So this is the arc, like this. So this arc represent the reflected wavefront. So this reflected wavefront is AB. So this AB is a reflected wavefront. right? I repeat, this is the concave mirror. The rays are from the infinite distance. After reflecting, the rays are met at the principal focus F. By connecting the particles, this is the incident wavefront, or we can say a plane wavefront AB. Here we draw arc by taking or accepting the center F. So this arc represent the reflected wavefront. So here the reflected wavefront is AB, right? Here we consider this point as a C. So we can say that from the figure that here the point C, this point, is behind point A and point B, right? Here you can see that this ray and this ray travel some more distance to reflect, right? See that after reflect it travels some more distance, and this ray travels a less distance after reflecting. So due to this, point C is behind point A and point B. I repeat, here this first ray and the third ray travel some more distance as compared to the second distance. So due to this, point C is behind point A and point B. So this is the reflection of plane wavefront, right? So here AB wavefront is of a incident ray and small AB is the reflected wavefront. You can see that here this wavefront is due to incident ray and this small AB is the reflected wavefront. Here point C is left behind point A and B. You can see that. So here point C is left behind point A and B. This is because here the second ray at the pole of mirror have taken a less distance as compared to other. You can say that this takes a less distance as compared to other, right? So C is left behind point A and point B. Okay, thank you.